Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. I hope each and every one of you guys are doing well today. I just want to dive into the story of Joseph. We've talked about this story many times on this channel, but we've not talked about this one area of the story. This story is so broad. You can take the one story and break it up into so many different parts, and there's so much to learn. There's so much revelation that you can get from this story, right? But this particular part of it, Genesis 37 verses 5, Joseph had a dream, and when he told it to his brothers, they hated him all the more. He said to them, listen to this dream. We were binding sheaves of grain out in the field, when suddenly my sheaf rose and stood upright, while your sheaves gathered around mine and bowed down to it. Okay? His brother said to him, do you intend to reign over us? Will you actually rule us? And they hated him all the more because of his dream, right? And then he had another dream. And basically his other dream, it says that this time the sun and moon and 11 stars were bowing down to me. When he told his father as well as his brothers, his father rebuked him and said, what is this dream you had? Will your mother and I and your brothers actually come and bow down to the ground before you? His brothers were jealous of him, but his father kept the matter in mind. All right, so this is where it all started. Sorry. Okay. It was all a dream. That's what I got. Okay. We know the story by now. His brothers got jealous of him. They threw him in a pit, sold him into slavery. Joseph ended up in prison at one point, and then he ended up in the palace, and then he became ruler over Egypt. Okay. And then his brothers started running out of food, and they came to Egypt to get food. So this is where we're at now, right? Now, they thought he had died. They thought that, when they put him in the pit and sold him into slavery, he had died, and that was his end, right? So now life got hard for them, and they needed to go to Egypt for food, right? Joseph recognized his brothers, but they did not recognize him. Okay, that's another. Remember, I gave the message about you're going to be unrecognizable. Can you believe that? He recognized them, but they did not recognize him. There goes a whole nother message within itself. So, he kind of like accused them of being spies. He's like, you guys are spies. And they're like, no, we're not spies, And I can just imagine him just having a little bit of fun, not gloating, but he's just having a little bit of fun with these perpetrators that tried to sell him into slavery, that did sell him into slavery, right? So anyways, basically Joseph tested his brothers. He tested them in many different ways, okay? Let me tell you something. Even though God gave you a dream, even though God gave you a vision, even though he gave you a promise and a prophecy, you still can test people, okay? There is people that God is going to allow to come back into your life. This could be anybody, okay? This could be a spouse that you're separated from. This could be a friend. This could be family members, whoever, but it's okay to test them. All right, so here is these siblings who's now in the presence of their brother, but they had no idea because he's now ruler of Egypt, and they need to get food, right? And Joseph decided, you know what, I'm gonna test these guys because I want to see if they are changed. I want to see if they are repentant. I want to see if their hearts have turned away from evil. Okay, because it took evil to do what they did to him. Okay, it wasn't a godly heart that did that. It was an evil heart. So he needed to make sure that they were repentant. He needed to make sure that they changed their ways before he was gonna help them, right? So the 6 ways, or the few ways that he tested them, right? He asked about their family and their father, because their father is his father, and he wants to know how his father is doing. All right. He sent them to get Benjamin, which was the youngest son. He put a silver cup in Benjamin's bag, right, to try to set him up, basically, right? He put one of the brothers in jail, Simeon, okay, and he also put their money back in their sacks. All right, he accused them of being spies, he accused them of being liars, all of that. He tested them, and he did those series of tests because he wanted to see, did they change? Did they change their ways? Are you still wicked? Are you still the same people who sold me into slavery? Okay, because if you are, I don't want any part of you. I don't want to be around you. Joseph is probably like, listen, man, I've been through a lot. I've been through a lot, okay? A woman tried to accuse me of things I didn't do. I got sent to prison. I just been through a lot. You know what you're not going to do? You're not going to bring me down. You're not going to bring me back down to where I was. I am not going to let you, friend, bring me back to a place I was. All right? So yes, God is allowing you to come back into my life. God is allowing you to be in my presence. He's allowing you to be in my space. But I need to make sure you're good. I need to make sure your heart is changed. I need to make sure you have turned away from your sins. And that's why he tested them. And it's nothing wrong with that, okay? I'm telling you, somebody can go 20 years, 30 years, and is the same person you left them back in 1998, okay? Some people do not change. Some people don't want to change. Some people are unrepentant, stiff-necked people, and they don't believe that they've done anything wrong. Okay, we live in a world where people take zero accountability for their actions, zero responsibility, okay? They could have been the one who threw him in the pit, and when he said, hey, listen, you threw me in the pit, they would have been like, no, we didn't. No, we didn't. You fell into the pit. You know, they would be trying to make up all sorts of stuff. Okay, versus saying, hey, no, listen, we did that and we were wrong. That is a repentant heart. We said that and we were wrong. We were wrong for that. Forgive us. Forgive us for the things that we did to you. Okay, that is being repentant. So, like I said, test the people who are trying to come back into your life. Make sure that they're not just saying that they've changed, but their actions line up with their words. All right? And you need to understand that, listen, people know when they've done wrong to you, and they know that you can call it karma, but they know that they're going to reap what they sow. Listen to this. This was verse 42, Genesis 42, verse 21. It says, they said to one another, surely we are being punished because of our brother. We saw how distressed he was when he pleaded with us for his life, but we would not listen. That's why this distress has come upon us. Okay. This is where Joseph accused them of being spies, and he was like, listen, I'm gonna lock you guys up. You're gonna be a slave. I'm gonna lock you up. And they're like, oh my gosh, no. Oh gosh, we're reaping what we sow. Of course, all this distress is gonna come upon us because of what we did to him. Yeah. See, it's so funny how people they can dish it, but they can't handle it. Okay, people cannot handle a taste of their own medicine. They can do it to you. They can do evil to you, but when evil is coming back to them, this is where they're crying, and this is where they're like, please don't do this to us. And I'm like, okay, you didn't think about that when you did evil? They love to do evil, but they don't like evil to be done to them. And this is what you're seeing in this story right now. And then Reuben is like, didn't I tell you not to sin against that boy? But you wouldn't listen. Now we must give an account for his blood. They did not realize that Joseph could understand them since he was using an interpreter. Okay? As only God, as God start allowing people to come back into your life, test them. And don't feel like you need to have them super close to you either. They don't need to. God says guard your heart. Scripture says guard your heart. They don't need to be like buddy with you like that. Okay? Watch him. Keep him at arm's length. But don't feel like you need to welcome them. God literally gave Joseph this dream. This was a prophecy. that meant that it was going to happen. But even though it was going to happen, he still had the authority to test them. Because he's like, I want to make sure that you're not crazy. I want to make sure that you are not the same monsters that did that to me. I just want to, for my sanity and my safety, I want to be sure. And it's okay to be that way. Anybody who is coming back into your life, test them. And if they're not repentant, if they're unremorseful, if they take zero accountability and zero responsibility, bring them to God and let him and ask him what should you do about that. The reality, Joseph's dream was very different because he knew that his brothers would come back, because that's what the dream, they were going to be bowing down to him. So they need to be back to bow down to him. You know what I mean? So he knew that they were going to come back. But how are you coming back? What's your heart posture like? Are you bowing down because you're starving? Are you like, you know what, let's just say all the right things because we're going to die because the famine is coming upon the land? Or are you bowing down because you're truly, truly repentant? You're truly, truly remorseful. You're truly, truly wanting forgiveness. Check people. Check them. Check them. Check them. Check their hearts. Check their actions. Check their words. Check everybody who wants to come back into your life. Okay, and ask God, should this person come back? Should they come back? And if it's a no, leave that door closed. If it's a yes, check them. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for liking and subscribing to this channel. Talk to you soon.